come out of the drug closet, the psychedelic closet. It's time to come out and speak out. And not just ordinary people like you and me, but for influential people that are doing great things. People that have changed the world. People like Steve Jobs, who said doing LSD was one of the most important things that he's ever done in his life. We need more people like this to come out and talk about how these kinds of drugs, marijuana, LSD, mushrooms, psilocybin, DMT, ayahuasca, iboga, we need more people to come out and start talking about how these great psychedelic drugs have helped them, have made them a better person, have positively affected their life, and changed things for the better. We need a form of kind of civil disobedience when it comes to this matter, because really nobody should have a say in what we consume. Nobody should have a say in what we put into our own bodies, how we choose to alter our mind, right? I mean, we're allowed, our wise overlords are allowing us to alter our consciousness in certain ways with certain drugs like alcohol, sugar, prescription drugs. That's okay. Those are good drugs, right? Those are good drugs. But all these drugs have limitations, and they're really just kind of surface level drugs. They don't go deep. They don't go deep into the psyche. They don't open you up. And these psychedelic drugs, they do that. Psychedelic drugs are just a tool, just like anything else. Psychedelic drugs are kind of like using a microscope or a telescope to either look really closely at something and see the fine detail of it, or to expand your view and open up and look and see what else is out there. More of reality, more data, more information will come into your mind, into your knowledge. You'll start to open up, you'll start to perceive things in a different way. And everybody, or most people that have done these drugs and have good experiences on them, always say the same things, right? Love, happiness, everything was one, we're all connected, peace is everything, love is everything. All this kind of stuff that you hear, that some people think is cliche, but it's true. If we want to be respected, and if we want to kind of lead the world, we need to start opening up. We need to start trusting each other more. We need to start restoring freedoms and liberties to the individual. We need the individual is everything. The primacy of the individual over the state authority is more powerful. And that's why these drugs are illegal. It's because they don't want you, as DJ Khaled would say, they don't want you to ride jet skis. They don't want you to drive Ferraris. They don't. They want you to be low consciousness thinking people who are able to, just be smart enough to kind of go to work and carry out your tasks, but not too smart where you overthink anything and start questioning things. Because they don't want you to question things, because they're in a pretty good spot right now. They have a pretty good game. They're set up for the power, the control, the money, and all that kind of stuff. They're living pretty good lives. But what about the people out there that just want to smoke a joint, because they have some pain, or maybe they just want to find out, ease some trauma by taking some MDMA, like soldiers that have come back from war. Soldiers commit 8,000 suicides a year. More soldiers have died in suicide than in war, in battle, since 2001. That's really sad. I mean, let's just think, out of all of you people out there that have used MDMA, Molly or whatever, ecstasy with the street name of it, but MDMA, mushrooms, psilocybin, DMT, weed, LSD, if any of you out there that have used these drugs, just know the potential benefits this could have for somebody suffering from PTSD or something like that. And there's great organizations out there that are doing research, which is limited, but still successful research, like MAPS, the Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, headed by Rick Doblin. This guy is great. He's making it work through science and through innovation and technology in the way that it should work. And that is the case for a lot of this debate on the war on drugs and to the legalization of marijuana and other drugs like that. The debate is, right? I mean, what are the benefits of these things? Well, let's legalize it and let's test them properly. And let's see. Let's really find out. We already have a lot of evidence that proves that these things are really great and have a lot of great benefits. And we already know that no one really has ever died from weed directly. Look at the statistics. Alcohol, 88,000 deaths a year. Prescription drugs, 20 to 30,000 deaths a year related to prescription drugs. Now look at weed and psychedelics and drugs like that. How many deaths? None. The only death that you get is an ego death. And an ego death is what we need. It's what we need in this society to evolve to the next level of consciousness, to rise above our petty little differences, to realize that we're all one and that we all share the same goals and we're a human race. We need to restore freedom and liberty to the individual. Direct experience. We think we're free, but we're not. We lock up the most amount of people, and the war on drugs is really just slavery when you think about it. It's an extension of slavery to the modern day. The war on drugs targets people who are poor, maybe uneducated, and a lot of minorities too. I mean, we have the unproportional minority population in prison. We have more people in prison than any other country in the world for nonviolent drug-related crimes, and we think that we're free. I mean, this is not freedom. This is not liberty. So we need to restore freedom. We need to restore cognitive liberty, and that is to have control over your own mind, to be able to choose for yourself what you do with your own mind. We need to have those choices. Otherwise, we're not free. We're all slaves. And we can limit ourselves from progressing until the next phase of evolution. You know, we can make this world a great place, but it starts with people having the individual freedom and liberty over their own minds. If you're not free over your own mind, then you are not free at all. You know, the war on drugs also is responsible for a lot of violence, a lot of death, a lot of gang violence, death, and a lot of destruction. That can easily be eliminated by making all these drugs legal. Now, I'm not for saying that they should just be given to anybody. Now, let's think about that. If these drugs were made legal, they could be properly studied, properly researched. You know, we can start to understand them better, how they work in the mind, what they do on a professional level, on a real regulated level. We can make sure that nobody ever ODs at a concert anymore because they took a bad dose of something that was laced with something because they didn't know where they got it from. You know, these drugs becoming legal will make sure that the purity of these drugs are up to par, that are safe for everybody. I mean, let's just look at what's happening in these states where marijuana is already legal, in Colorado and Washington. I mean, the sales are through the roof, and the tax revenue is off the charts. People are actually getting money back because they're making so much off of this stuff. And the quality is really good. It is the highest quality. It's pure. It's not laced with anything. There's no mystery ingredients in there. So people are getting really good things, and they're going and they're using these medications, the marijuana, and they're using them for all kinds of stuff, for joint and muscle relief, for depression, for anxiety, for sleep. There's specific ones, you know, dedicated to that. You know, ask any hippie in the 60s, they didn't have that. So look at how far we've come. Look at what we're doing already. We need to go farther. We need to come out of the closet. We need to say, I've done psychedelics. They've helped my life. They've changed my perspective. They've made me a calmer person. You know, maybe you went to Burning Man and did them. Maybe you went to the Amazon rainforest and did ayahuasca. You know, maybe you and your buddies took some mushrooms and giggled a little bit and had a great time. Whatever you did, let people know. Talk about it. Talk about how this has helped you. You know, just like I said before, just like with civil rights, with gay rights, this is mind rights. This is the right to control your mind, the right to make the world a better place, to be a better person. We look at all this kind of stuff, all this insanity that we see on the news. It's all fear. It's all fear, fear, fear. Terror, terror, war, war, this, that, the other thing. Death, death, fear. You know, I learned in class if you take LSD, you'll jump out of the window or something and kill yourself. I mean, this is what they want. The powers that be, they want to scare you. They want to make you afraid, because when you're afraid, it legitimizes their authority. It legitimizes their position to come in and say, we'll protect you. We'll make sure you're okay. But really, it's the opposite. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to have the power over yourself. They don't want us to be free, independent individuals living in a peaceful, non-violent society. Because then all of a sudden, well, what do they do with this great big war machine government that they've created? I really believe that psychedelics have the power to save the world. And I'm not just talking about just doing them and then leaving it be. I'm talking about legal, responsible, regulated psychedelics that can be studied, that can be researched to help people, that can be used just to have fun. I mean, what about fun, right? I mean, why are we such an uptight, paranoid, scared country? Let's have a little fun. Let's relax a little bit. Let's be smart. Let's use the data. Let's be intelligent and really understand and study these things so we can make a better world, so we can change our thoughts, our perception of things, so we can see things with a bigger scope, so we can ride that bicycle of the mind, so we can explore new areas, so we can come up with new modalities of thought, new kinds of visions for how a society is created. So what kinds of things are there out there to do instead of going out on a Friday night and only having the choice of a bar to go to? Maybe we go to a mushroom den, where there's something cool to do, or maybe the streets are painted in different colors, things like that. Our environment will stimulate us, because our minds will stimulate our environments, and it'll be this feedback loop that Jason Silva talks about, and we'll kind of be able to create a new world. I mean, the power that we have is limitless. And we can do this. We really can. But it starts with every single person individually coming out, speaking out, saying what kind of positive effect that these things have had on their life. Don't give in to the fear. Let the love in.